Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the one-third men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya coming back at you one more time from the Great Millstone held in Montana camp. And we're just going to jump right into this lesson, okay? And we always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group, and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group, and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, okay? So I'm going to do this lesson real quick. The Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai had the Spirit jump on me to do this lesson, okay? And I'm going to title this lesson, Esau Screws People Out of Their Wages, okay? Here in Esau's kingdom, his queendom, you know, he makes unrighteous laws. You know, all of his laws are wicked. Perfect example. You know, you work 2 weeks for Esau, and you get your check. You could be doing overtime, right? You could get some extra hours in, and then you think, oh yeah, my check gonna be good. Then all of a sudden you get your check. What's the first thing that we see? Taxes being taken out of. Federal taxes, state taxes, taxes. Esau tax you, right? You know what I'm saying? He could take like $150, $200, $300. You know what I'm saying? The more you make, the more he tax you. That's beyond wicked. You know what I'm saying? Esau is he's the devil, okay? But yeah, man, he tax you and tax you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I could get my check from the plantation, and I look at it. Every time I look, I'm like, look at how much Esau done took out of my check. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the devil does. He does devilish, wicked ass shit like that. But yeah, I'm gonna title this lesson Esau screws people out of their wages. You know what I'm saying? You know that's what he does. When you work for Esau, you know Esau. I see it a lot. He'll Esau hire Issachar, and he'll basically pay them for less. And we know Issachar is like the hardest working tribe out of the nation of Israel. Issachar, you know, what is Issachar basically? Issachar means he is hired, you know. So Issachar Issachar works his ass off, you know, from sun up to sundown. Issachar works, and so that's why Esau knows. Like if I hire these Mexicans, they'll do it for you know what I'm saying, for less pay, you know. So Esau knows exactly what he's doing. He screws people out of money. He screws people out of their wages. And then, you know, if you don't pay your bills on time, or he'll give you a certain amount of time to pay it, an extension. And then if you don't pay it, he'll terminate your services. He'll terminate your phone, gas, electric, everything. He'll terminate it, and he'll kick you out on the street, and he don't give a shit. Esau, Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Let's go into this word for wage, right? And all praise and glory to Yah, Bashem Yah. This is the definition for wage. Just Google the word wage. It'll give you the definition. Wage. A wage is a financial compensation paid by an employer to an employee for their labor or services. Right? So when we work, you know what I'm saying, we're supposed to get the full day's pay, full day's wage. Now we ain't supposed to wait 2 weeks and we work all these hours and busting our ass and breaking our backs for Esau just for him to pay us 2 weeks later, and then he'll still take money out of our checks. I'm going to read that definition again. Wage. A wage is a financial compensation paid by an employer to an employee for their labor or services, right? So let's go to the law, the book of the law, the book of the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah, okay? The law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because we know that the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father are perfect and they're right. You know what I'm saying? And the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father are not done away with. You know what I'm saying? That's why this world is all messed up and screwed up now, because first our people, because it's all about the Israelites. You know, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai gave the law, statute, commandments to his people, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, but this is why this world is so jacked up and messed up, because this world is not going. The majority of our people. Now we know we can't keep the law, statute, commandments 100% in this captivity, but we know in the kingdom to come, we're going to be able to keep the law, statute, commandments 144%, because the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to write his laws in our minds. Matter of fact, I'm going to just get it. This is Hebrews 8:8 in the New Testament, because these wacky-tacky Christians say that the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father are done away with, which is bullshit. It's not. Okay, now let's check this out. This is in the New Testament, Hebrews 8:8. It says this is the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai speaking. It says, for finding fault with them. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this up to the camera. So for the new listeners, you can see it. Hebrews 8:8, for finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. This is only concerning the Israelites, right? Verse 9, it says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. For this is the covenant that I, going to the next page, that I will make with the house of Israel. Remember, this is in the New Testament. We're reading it right there, Hebrews. Will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I will put my laws. See? The Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to put his laws into our minds. It says it. Will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Okay? And there you go. That was Hebrews, the 8th chapter. We just read it. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to put his law, statute, commandments in our minds and in our inward parts. And the kingdom will come, so we won't go off no more. We're going to read Deuteronomy 24, verse 14 to 15. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Deuteronomy chapter 14. And we're going to read verse, Deuteronomy 24. We're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 24. And we're going to read verse 14 to 15. And it reads, this is in the book of the law. Okay? It says this, Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 14 to 15. It says, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant. That's what Esau does to Jacob. He oppresses us. Okay, Esau will pay us, even though it's 2 weeks later, but then he'll still take taxes and everything. And then, it's oppression. Okay? It says, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant. Now, this is talking about amongst our people. Okay? Israel, Yasharallah. It says, this is what an Israelite should not do to another Israelite. It says, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whatever he be of thy brethren. See, he's just talking about our brethren, our kinsmen, according to the flesh, your brethren. Whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers, right? That are in thy land, within thy gates, right? It says, at this day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it. Read it again, verse 15. At this day thou shalt give him his hire. What does that mean? That's talking about what does that mean? Right here on the bottom of my page, on the bottom of my page when it says hire, what does it say? It says wages. You know, when a person works for you, you're supposed to give that man his wages, his money that day. We're reading it out the scriptures. Deuteronomy 24:15. It says, at his day, thou shalt give him his hire, his wages. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and set up his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and it be sin unto thee. Right? Jay, be working his ass off, and then when he get his check, after Esau to take the taxes out of it, we go. So what I got to do? Okay, I got to pay rent. Okay, then I got to pay my phone bill, then like gas and electric. Shit, I only got like 60, 70 bucks, 80 bucks left. 80 bucks is gonna have to get me through the next 2 weeks. That's oppression. Let's read this real quick out of Deuteronomy 24, verse 14 and 15. In the easy version translation, I'm going to read verse 15. It says, you must pay him for his work every day before sunset. You're supposed to pay that man before the sun go down. It says, remember that he is poor. He needs the money to stay alive. Esau don't care. He's like, nah, Esau don't give a damn. He said, man, Esau don't think, he don't give a damn about what bills you got to pay, what you got to go. Hell no. It says, remember that he is poor. He needs the money to stay alive. If you do not pay him, he may complain against you to the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The Lord will say that you are guilty of sin. Okay? Let's go to Leviticus. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 15, on the bottom of my page in the Cliff Notes, it tells me to go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13, which is another book of the Torah. Deuteronomy and the book of Deuteronomy and the book of Leviticus is part of the first 5 books of Moses, the book of the law. This is Leviticus. This is Leviticus chapter 19. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13. It reads, now remember, Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, told us to go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13. It reads, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Let's read that Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13 in the Good News Translation. It says, do not rob or take advantage of anyone. Do not hold back the wages of someone you have hired, not even for one night. Thus said the Bible, thus said Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is what the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai says. Read it again. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13, Good News Translation. Do not rob or take advantage of anyone. Do not hold back the wages of someone you have hired, not even for one night. Now, Leviticus, remember Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, told us to go to Leviticus, the 19th chapter, right? And Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13, Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13, on the bottom of my page in the Cliff Notes, what does it tell us to go to? Right there. Right there. Deuteronomy 24 and 15, which is what we read. It all comes together. Now let's go to James in the New Testament. James chapter 5. We're going to read James chapter 5. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Hallelujah. This is James chapter 5. James chapter 5 and verse 4 in the New Testament. The title for James chapter 5 in the New Living Translation, it reads, Warning to the Rich. Warning to the rich. This is James chapter 5 and verse 4. It reads, it says, Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. That's what Esau does, you know. He keeps back by fraud, you know. Crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Now check this out. James 5 and 4, right? On the bottom of my page to James 5 and 4, where does it tell us to go to? I'll put this up to the camera. It says right there, Leviticus 19 and 13 and Deuteronomy 24 and 15. This is James chapter 5 and verse 4 in the easy to read version translation. The title reads, A Warning to Rich and Selfish People. Because we know that Esau is very selfish when it comes to money, right? You know? I mean, like I said, look what he does. He taxes you. He doesn't care if you have bills. And then he had a nerve to harass you when he's taking money from you. Esau's taking money from you. Then he had the nerve to harass you and send you text messages and fucking letters in the mail talking about you owe him money when he's taking money from us. The nerve of this devil. He takes money from us, but then he turns around and says that we owe him money. This is James 5 and 4 ERV. The title reads, A Warning to Rich and Selfish People. James 5 and 4 in the expanded version translation. It reads, Listen, behold, the pay, parentheses, wages, you did not give, parentheses, defrauded from the workers who mowed your fields cries out against you. Then it says, parentheses, Leviticus, go to Leviticus 19 and 13 and Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 14 and 15. It says it right here on the bottom of my page in the Cliff Notes. To Matthew chapter 5 and verse 4, it says go to Leviticus 19 and 13 and Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 15, which is what we read. Expanded version translation to James 5 and 4, it says, Listen, behold, the pay, wages you did not give, defrauded from the workers who mowed your fields, cries out against you. Okay? Now this is part, and again, this is part of the law. So the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, it doesn't want his people, us his people. Don't defraud your own brother amongst your brethren, right? But then we know that these heathen, especially Esau, Edom, he defrauds people. He defrauds people. He screws people out of their wages. You know, he's a devil. You know, he doesn't care if you don't have. He wants to, all he wants is his money. He don't care how you get it. You know what I'm saying? He just get Esau. Basically, Esau just says, "Get my money. I don't care how you get it. Just get it." You know. We're gonna wrap it up, Akim. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men, a great millstone who teaches the truth in righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. Let's stay strong, Akim. We almost out this kingdom. Righteousness is going to be in the kingdom. No wickedness, no taxes, no. Yashral ain't gonna be paying no taxes and working a 9 to 5 and getting up early in the morning and shit and busting our ass and messing our bodies. No, man, it's gonna be the kingdom is gonna be in righteousness, and we're gonna be ruling over these nations. We are going to they're gonna have to come to us. See, we got to go to Esau and his kingdom, but very soon these heathen ass nations, they're going to be coming to us very soon. So let's stay strong, Akim. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Kwam Yasharala and the Baba Ba Shalom.